As a parent, if you're watching your child meltdown before school, maybe struggle with sleep or show signs of anxiety and stress, it can really be heartbreaking and even frustrating. You've probably wondered, are these stresses that they're experiencing even harming their developing brain or their body? And if you notice that when your child is under stress, they also deal with other health challenges, maybe digestive issues, focus problems, big emotions, or even immune system challenges, this video is for you. You see, what might surprise you is that research shows that 35% of American children actually experience a stress related health problem. Childhood stress linked to maybe even PTSD, depression, aggression, and what many doctors, when you go to the office, aren't necessarily sharing is that there are different kinds of stress. Some is harmful, some is not. Some is actually even essential for your child's neurological development and their long term resilience. So, what I want to dive into in this video is how to know the difference and how to really connect stress to your child's ability to regulate their nervous system. Because when it comes to stress related health challenges, nervous system dysfunction, what we find is actually one of the most critical pieces. What we find in our office is that the better a child's nervous system is working, the more stress related things they can handle, whether it is good stress or bad stress. So, if you're a parent and your child is dealing with stress related issues, anxiety, behavior problems, focus problems, chronic health issues that don't seem to fade away, and you don't just want another drug to manage the signs, that's what I'm going to dive into in this video and help you understand that difference between what is beneficial stress that builds their resilience and what is harmful stress that can wear them down, and more importantly, how to, regardless of what type of stress it is, boost their body to handle it better. So, I want to share a quick story of Jameson. He came to see us when he was a young boy, 4 or 5 years old, and he was struggling with big emotions, big outbursts, especially at school. And he also would have these incidences of throwing up throughout the month, which mom was a nurse, so she's like, I think it's his body getting overwhelmed with stress. So either it's coming out as a big emotion, a meltdown, a tantrum, or throwing up. We assessed his nervous system, found there was a lot of stress built up inside his body, started adjusting him, and fast forward, and mom's sharing a testimony in our office because she said, guess what? Jameson is doing way better in school. His emotions and meltdowns are still there because he's a young boy, but it's not these huge blowups that we used to have. And his stomach, his digestion is way better too. So the thing with Jameson is there was a combination of both. When we did the scans that we do in our office, we were able to see there was a lot of stress inside his body already. So when it comes to stress, we know that the brain is taking in everything from the world. So stress is being processed by the brain, and then the brain is telling the body how to respond. What we find is if there's a lot of stress coming in, it's going to tell the body to respond in a stressful way because a lot of stress coming in means that it's going to tell the body to respond with big behaviors, big emotions, maybe anxieties and worries, that fight flight response, maybe even a freeze response if body's getting overwhelmed, digestive issues, immune challenges. All these are signs that the nervous system is getting overwhelmed by stress. And the thing is, there's also stress then coming from, so if we look at this stress here, this is actually can be divided now into two categories. What's coming from the body, which in Jameson's case, there was actually a lot of stress from the body feeding into the brain. And there's also stress from the environment, the external world. So if there's a lot of environmental stress, that can also feed into the brain. So when we look at like where stress might be coming externally, that might be things like whether it's good stress or bad stress. I'm going to jump back here to this screen. External stress, if it's we'll call quote unquote bad stress, might be a tough living situation. Maybe parents are kind of struggling at home. Maybe there's just overly demands and high demands of life. There was a teenager that was in our office and he was preparing for the ACTs, and parents wanted him academically to just be like top notch. And throughout the summer, they're having him study 4, 6, 8 hours a day at a time when he needed a little downtime. He needed a break. He needed a pause on life. But they were just saying, nope, you got to work hard. So there can be external stress that we'll say is bad if it's a lot going on. And then we look at also there's stress that is good. Maybe it's learning how to solve a puzzle or ride a bike or doing exercise, something that is going to build your body up as a result from it. And the combination then is when we put these two together is ultimately, whether it's good stress or bad stress, it still takes energy for the brain and the nervous system to process it. So maybe it's good stress. I know Jameson's mom just loves him up so much, and we've had to kind of talk about this at times now that he's been seeing us for a while. He's doing way better. But there's times where she's said, yep, I've got him in swimming lessons. I've got him in Boy Scouts. I've got him in judo and jujitsu and martial arts. And then we travel up north on the weekend to do some camping and some outdoor time. And it's all these amazing things. They're all really fun. They're all really good. However, even really good things can start to add up and wear on the nervous system. So, where we come in then is one of the scans we do in our office. It's called a heart rate variability scan. And ultimately, it's measuring, is stress building a person up or is it wearing them down? Because what we find is if there's stresses building us up, we're good. If there's too many stresses pulling us down, now that starts to wear our system down. And it's a good stress or a bad stress. Too much, too busy can wear a person down. So that's where what we're looking for in our office is, can an individual's nervous system handle how much is coming at them? An easy example is if you're training for a marathon, you're going to be running. You're going to be running a lot. And the workout days, the hard push yourself day is need to be followed by the recovery day. And the recovery is just as important as the workout if you want to hit your goal. So, to help your child better process the world, obviously, we probably know about sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things because while a child's sleeping at night, their brain is actually integrating all their experiences of the day. Yes, it's resting their physical body, it's resting their mind, but it's actually making the building blocks to allow them to get stronger the next day. It's where our sensory processing system integrates. It's where if we did have an emotional challenge during the day, we actually help work it out during dreams. So this sleep is one thing that builds us back up and helps us recover. The other thing that we really emphasize with parents is not having to make the most of every moment, especially with a kid. I know in our house it's easy to try to say, yep, we do want them doing swim lessons. We want them doing this cool dance class. We want them playing with friends. We want them doing this and this and this and this. And sometimes he just needs a little time to kind of sit back, read a book, maybe do a little art, maybe play in the sandbox by himself in the backyard and kind of decompress and take the edge off. So the goal, of course, is to balance those two, and that's one of the things the scans help us measure that we do in our office. And then what we do with the neurological adjusting is we allow the nervous system to process more in the world, to build resiliency and build bandwidth. So if that's something you're interested, if you find your child is struggling with stress related things, anxiety, ADHD, sensory processing, big emotions, big feelings, big tantrums, big meltdowns, and you're wondering, is it stress that's bad, stress that's good? Is it too much stress? What we find is if we can help their body internally start to process stress better and not have that body stress coming into their brain, that's where now, regardless of what's coming at them, they start to do way better, just like Jameson did. So if you have any questions, reach out. Know we're here for you and know we'd love to help support your child handle the world the best they can.